Hi friends, Sanjukta Kaur here. Welcome to my YouTube channel DigiTeach. As you know, in my channel you will get all the videos related to CBSE syllabus for class 11th and 12th Computer Science with Python. In this video I am going to describe the details of the chapter Interface Python with MySQL. Each and every concept discussed very clearly, that means both practically and theoretically. Like how do you install Python MySQL connector to your system, how do you import the MySQL connector package to your program, how can you establish the connection from your Python application program to the database, how can you create the cursor object so that you can execute the SQL query to extract the data from the result set, all these things. So friends, watch the video till end. I assure you that you can clear your doubt and able to implement the program practically as well as theoretically, and also be able to face the Viva questions from this particular chapter. But friends, it is my personal advice to you that you implement the same practically and you will be the master of this particular chapter. Friends, watch the video till end. If you like my video, subscribe my channel and press the bell icon to get the new updates. Very soon you will get different set of questions for both practical as well as term 2 theory exam. So keep watching. Thank you. So friends, let's start the introduction part. First of all, interface. Interface means one type of connectivity to design the real life applications like hotel management system, railway reservation system, library management system. Here we are bound to encounter the situations we need to manipulate data stored in the database through the application designed by us. So since we are developing Python application, now we can connect the MySQL database from within the Python script. In order to connect a database from within the Python, you need to install MySQL connector library that provides the connectivity functionality. Remember that there are many different libraries available for Python to complete the same task, but here we will import the MySQL connector library to our program, right? So friends, let's discuss how do you install Python MySQL connector to your system. Before you install MySQL connector on Python, you must ensure that MySQL connector is installed in the same folder as Python. After that, Python is installed on your computer and you are connected to the internet. That means आपके सिस्टम पे Python already installed है और आपकी कंप्यूटर इंटरनेट के साथ ऑलरेडी कनेक्टेड है. Then go to the system path where Python is installed and copy it. Now open the command prompt and on that command prompt type the cd command. After that paste the copied path to access the Python folder. After that you have to write the pip command, that is pip install mysql connector python. So when you press enter, then automatically that Python MySQL connector will be installed in your system and it is saved in that particular folder where your Python folder is already saved. So let's do it practically. So friends, here open the Python ideally, then click on file menu, go to open. After that here you can see that scripts folder, so just double click on it. After that here you just click here so that you will get the system path, right? Now here copy it. After that you just go to the command prompt. In that search button you just write on that cmd on your taskbar, right? So command prompt will be there. Now here you have to write cd, that is change directory, then paste the system path in this way, right? After that you just press enter. Now you are on that system path of Python. So friends, here you need to write pip command, pip install Python MySQL connector. After that, when you press the enter, then automatically just you are able to install the Python MySQL connector to your system. Already I have installed in my computer, so here I will not repeat the process, but friends you just press enter. So after that, now you can see that the installing process is going on, so that you can install the Python MySQL connector in your system in this way, right? Hope all of you understood. So friends, I hope all of you understood how do you install the Python MySQL connector to your system. Next, steps for creating database connectivity applications, right? So here 7 steps are there. First is start Python, import the package required to connect the MySQL server, that is import mysql.connector package. Open a connection to the database. Fourth step is create a cursor instance. Fifth one is execute SQL query, and sixth is extract data from result set. Then close the connection to the MySQL server. So these are 7 steps to creating the database connectivity applications, right? So let us discuss one by one. First is starting Python. On your computer, open Python editor where you can create your Python scripts, and it can be IDLE or Spider IDE, whatever you feel comfortable, right? So after starting Python, then import MySQL connector package to your program by writing import mysql.connector or import mysql.connector as con.sql. So here what is that con.sql? This is the short name of this MySQL connector. So this is one identifier I have given here, so that instead of writing that MySQL connector is time, you can use this alias name of MySQL connector. So this is the short name of this MySQL connector package. So both the statements are correct. So let's do it practically. So friends, how do you use the import statement? So here in that IDLE part, you just write down import MySQL dot connector. Okay. So after installing that Python MySQL connector to your system, then very first statement step is you just write that import MySQL connector in your IDLE mode, then execute it. If you are getting the Python prompt, that means you have installed the MySQL connector successfully to your system, so that you can write the script program, right? So here we are getting the Python prompt, that means already we have installed MySQL connector successfully to our system, right? Now let's write the script. So here import MySQL dot connector. This is very first statement to import the MySQL dot connector package to our program, right? After that, next step is open a connection to MySQL database. So to establish a connection to MySQL database, use the connect function of MySQL connector package, and the connect function creates a connection between MySQL and Python and requires 4 parameters. Okay, these are the 4 parameters: user, password, host name, and database name. User, it is the username on MySQL, and password, it is the password of the user. Host name, it is the database server host name of MySQL database, and database, it is the optional which provides the database name of MySQL database. Like here you can write mycon equal to mysql.connector.connect, and you have to provide the 4 parameters, right? So in this way you can establish a connection. So the connect function returns the connection object, that mycon is now our connection object. So let's write the statement. So mycon equal to, that means mycon is the connection object, and here we need to write the connect function of mysql.connector, and that connect function requires 4 parameters. Database parameter is optional. So first parameter, that is your host equal to localhost, that is the localhost of your MySQL server. Next is user. So user, here my username is root, so you have to write root. After that, password of the user. So here I have given my password, that is my name Sanjukta. So this is my password. After that, database. See friends, database parameter is optional, so this time I am not providing the database name. After creating the database, then I will write here, right? So now in this way I have used the connect function to establish a connection to my Python program to the database, right? So if that connection is established successfully, then no error will come. So how will you write that? That each connected function is there. So if mycon dot is connected function, that means mycon is my connection object name, or each connected function is used to check whether we have established the connection successfully or not. If successfully, then it returns true. So here just I will write print connection established So let's execute the program. First of all, let me save this program with a name 12th practical 12th practical.py, right. So now you see, if everything is okay, then your Python already printed connection established successfully. That means now we have connected our Python program to the database. So already we have used that connection function. Now let me erase this because already we have checked. After that, now next step is what? You just create the cursor object, is not it? So how will you create the cursor object? So here my cur, that is my cursor object name, equal to connection object name we have to use, that is mycon dot cursor function. So here cursor function is available. So mycon equal to mycon dot cursor function. So in this way we can create the cursor object, right. So three statements are very important. First statement is import the MySQL dot connector package to your Python program. After that, establish a connection by using the connect function, and here you need to provide the 4 parameters: host equal to localhost, user equal to root, password equal to your password, right. And fourth parameter, that one is optional for you, that is the database name, okay. And this connect function returns a connection object, and here I have saved that connection object by using the name mycon. After getting that connection successfully, then you can create the cursor object so that you can execute the SQL query by using this cursor object. So how do you create the cursor object? We have to use the connection object, that is mycon dot cursor function, right. Creating a cursor instance already we have created by using mycon equal to mycon dot cursor function. Importance of database cursor: it is a useful control structure of database connectivity. When you connect to a database from within a script, then the query gets sent to the server where it gets executed, and the set of records retrieved as per query is known as result set. Is sent over the connection to you in one go, but you may want to access the retrieved data one row at a time, but query processing cannot happen as one row at a time. So a special type of control structure called database cursor can be created that gets the access of all the records retrieved as per query called the result set and allow to traverse the result set row by row. So friends, यहाँ पे जो cursor object आपने create किया है, with the help of cursor object you can execute the SQL query. और जब आप कोई भी SQL query आप execute करोगे, then जब आप select statement use करोगे तो आप data और records आप retrieve कर सकते हो, और यहाँ पे cursor object के जरिए आप one by one records access कर सकते हो, right. So this is very important control structure of database. So already we have created the cursor object. Now next part is execute SQL query. So after establishing the connection and creating the cursor object, you can execute or perform the following SQL operations on the databases. Like how do you create a database? Suppose the database name is 12th practical. Now first of all you create the database, include the database in that connect function. After that you create one table, then you just insert the records into the table. So all the things now we will do one by one. First of all, how do you create a database? And the database name is 12th practical. After that we have to create a table in that particular database, right. So let's do it practically. So here already you can see create database 12th practical. 12th practical is the folder name, that means database name. After that we have to execute this query, then display the database by using show databases, and again we have to execute the query, then we have to continue a loop to display all the databases in our SQL server, right. So let's do it practically. How do you create the database So, after creating the cursor object, now my query is create database and database name is 12th practical. So, friends, this is the statement create database 12th practical. This is the statement to create a database. After that, I have to execute it by using my cur object. That one is my cursor object. My cur is that object of cursor function. So, my cur dot execute, and here I need to pass this query, and if this database will be created successfully, then I have to print the same, print database created successfully. So, let us execute this. Now, you can see database created successfully. That means, here by writing this create database name, then execute this query. So, already that database is already created in our SQL server, right. Now, we can include the same database equal to database name, that is so, friends, here already we have created the database. Now, no need to execute this query once again, right. So, here just I do not want to execute once again, because already I have created the database. Now, you can display all the databases by using the show databases command, right. So, how will you write that? So, again I have to write the query, this time show databases, and just I have to execute this query. Okay. So, show databases is the command to show all the databases. After that, we have to continue a loop, because many databases are there. So, repeatedly we have to access the database. So, here just for I in my cur, because this is my cursor object, then print I. So, here friends, I have used show databases. That command is used to display all the databases, but here how will you display all the databases? You have to just continue a loop so that you can display the databases, right. So, let us execute. So, let us execute. Now, see, these are the databases already I have created. Now, this time I have created 12th practical, right. Now, next is, already we have written the command how do you create a database, and similarly how will you display all the databases. Then next part is, so friends, after creating the database, now we have to create a table in that particular database, and here table name is club, and these are the field names, coach ID, integer type, and primary key you can put coach name, second attribute or second column name, that is having the worker type of data type. Similarly, age, integer type, sports name, that is of char or worker type. Similarly, date of appointment, date type, pay, integer type, gender, char type, right. So, here this SQL command is used to create the table, create table club, coach ID, int primary key, coach name worker of 20, age integer type, sports worker of 20, date of appointment date type, pay integer type, gender char type, because single char is there, and just we have to execute the query. So, let us execute. So, friends, let us create the table. Query equal to, how do you create a table? By create table command, create table. This time my table name is club. So, create table club, after that we have to just put a bracket, then here my attribute name is coach id. So coach id, it is integer type, and if you want to insert the primary key, because your coach IDs are unique, so primary key you can insert. After that, second attribute is coach name. So here you can see type of coach name, that is characters type. So here combination of characters are there, so you can use worker, and maximum number of characters, suppose 20. Next attribute is age, and data type is int type. Similarly, next attribute is sports, and it is worker of suppose 10, maximum number of characters, here I have written 10. Then next attribute is date of appointment. So here date of appointment, the data type of date is date type, right? So here you can use date type. Similarly, next attribute is pay, and pay is integer type, and next attribute is your gender, and it is char type. Why char type? Because only single character is there, right? So just close this bracket, then close the quotes. After that, we have to execute this query by our MySQL object. So MySQL dot execute, then here the variable name is query. If this table will be created successfully, then here just I need to print table created successfully. Hope all of you understood, right? So here I have written the command, that is create table club with the attributes name and the data types and the constraint. Here only primary key constraint I have used, right? So let's execute the program. Now table created successfully, that means already we have created the table club in this database 12th practical, right? So after that, just put this also in comment, because once you have created the club table in this 12th practical, then again you cannot execute the same, because multiple tables cannot be created with the same name, right? So after creating the table, the next statement is how do you insert the data into your table, right? So let's discuss the same. But before inserting records into a table, you should know about commit and rollback function. So to perform the insert, update and delete operation on a table, the commit function and rollback functions are used. So what is that commit function? Commit function sends a commit command to the MySQL server, committing the current transactions. That means अगर आप कोई भी रिकॉर्ड्स आप इंसर्ट करना चाहते हो या डिलीट करना चाहते हो या अपडेट करना चाहते हो, तो आप उस कमांड को लिखने के बाद यू हैव टू यूज द कमिट फंक्शन विद द कनेक्शन ऑब्जेक्ट नेम, सो दैट जो भी आपने ट्रांजेक्शन किया है वो परमानेंटली आपकी डेटाबेस में चेंज हो जाए. सिमिलरली जो रोलबैक फंक्शन है, रोलबैक फंक्शन रिवोर्ट द चेंजेस मेड बाय द करेंट ट्रांजेक्शंस. जो आपने अभी चेंजेस करना चाह रहे थे बाय यूजिंग एनी एसक्यूएल स्टेटमेंट, वो आपको फिर से रिवर्ट हो जाए. दैट मीन्स परमानेंटली वहाँ पे चेंजेस ना हो जाए. सो दैट इज द इफेक्ट ऑफ रोलबैक फंक्शन. सो if you want to insert a record into your database or delete a record from your database or update a record in your database, then after completing that you have to use the commit function, right? But all the time you should remember that commit function is used with the database connection object, not the cursor object, right? Similarly, rollback function and commit function, both functions you can use with the help of connection object, right? So this is the important facts about this. After that, inserting records into a table. So here how do you insert the records to your table? There are two methods. One is old method by using the %s, another one is dot format method, right? So if you want to insert a single record at a time, then you can use insert into club values. Then here for the attribute you have to use the curly bracket start, curly bracket close. Again here you need to remember, if the data type is worker type or char type, at that time you have to put this curly braces into quotes, in the quotes, right? After that dot format, then you just provide the values for one row. After that you execute this query, then you use the commit function, right? this is the way to insert one record by using this dot format method, but another way is also there. You can use the %s, right. Similarly, if you want to insert multiple records, at that time you can input the values from the user. You can just continue one loop. After that, you just insert these values to your SQL query, then execute it, then use the commit function. So, you can do this method also, right. So, let us do the same practically. Here now you can see already we have created the database, already we have displayed all the databases, similarly already created the table. So, now we do not need all these commands, right. So, here just after creating all this, then now I have to delete the same. If you want to take the screenshot, then you can take it, okay. So, just now I have to use the insert command, right. So, one row I have to insert in my table, already I have created the table. So, here what will you write? Just write one SQL variable, that this SQL is my variable name. So, insert into table name is club, insert into club values. Now, you can see how many attributes are there, 7 attributes are there. So, this is for my coach ID because integer type, but here coach name, that one is string type. Similarly, next one is what? Again age, that is integer type. Next is sports name, that is character type, and next is date of appointment, that also I have to use the quotes, right. So, here this is for date of appointment. Next is pay, without quotes I have to use the curly braces, and next one is for gender, and here it is also I have to use the curly braces, right. So, insert into club values, then close the bracket, close the quotes, then use dot format, and now you can write the values. So, these are the values. So, here just I have to write the values, that is 1, and the name of coach, that is Kukrija. Similarly, age of coach, suppose 35. Next one is karate. Similarly, here date of appointment, this is pay, and here the gender. As you know, what type of value we need to put in the quotes, right. So, here I have to use the single quotes. So, in this way you can insert one record to your table, right. So, after that execute this query. So, how will you do that? We have to use the mycur.execute function and write the SQL variable name, that is SQL. After that, mycon dot commit function. So, if you will not use the commit function, then the changes will be not reflected in your table. If everything is okay, then this row inserted successfully is displayed on your screen. So, let us execute this. Now, you can see row inserted successfully, that means already we have inserted one row. Now, next part is if we want to insert multiple row at a time, that you can continue one loop, you can ask the values from the user, then you can execute the same. So, let us do the same. Now, if you want to insert multiple rows, then just continue one loop, while loop, right. Then here the values you can ask from the user and you can use the insert command. For example, suppose coach ID equal to, here it is integer type, so int input, enter the coach ID, right. This is the Python statement. Similarly, coach name, cname equal to input, enter the coach name, age, it is integer type, so age equal to int, input, enter the coach age, right. Next is sports name, sports equal to input, enter the sports name. So here because it is char type, so enter the sports name, enter the sports name. Next one is date of appointment, date of appointment equal to, similarly it is also char type, so we will use input function. So input, enter the date of appointment. Next is pay, again pay is your integer type, so here we will use int, input, enter the pay. Hope all of you are enjoying the code, because these are the Python code, right, but ways are different, so different ways I am discussing here, so you try to understand, right. Now next one is gender, so gender is char type, so input function we have to use, right. So input, enter the gender. So here these values I have to just enter at execution time. After that, now you can use the insert command. So SQL equal to insert into glob values. Now here format, dot format, after that we have to use that coach ID. See friends, here for this coach ID I have to use this variable name CID, because CID variable name I have used to enter the coach ID. Similarly after that cname, that I have used for coach name. Next one is age, next is sports, SPT I have used. Similarly date of appointment, that for that I have used this variable. Next is pay, and next one is gender. So these variables I have used here, right. So in that format function I have to use the variable name, because when I execute this program then I have to provide the values, and I have to insert these values to these attributes, right. So after that just mycur, because this one is my object, cursor object name, mycur dot execute, and SQL, because SQL is my query variable name, right. After that mycon, that one is my connection object, okay. So mycon dot commit function. See friends, when you execute this first time, one row you can just enter. After that you ask the user like ch equal to int input, do you want to insert more records? If yes, press 1, otherwise press any number, any other number, right. So here just I have given one instruction for the user, that if you want to enter more records then you press 1, otherwise you press any other number. Now if ch not equal to 1, then you can exit from the loop, that means break. Hope all of you understood, because here I have used one loop, that one is infinite loop. Initially you have to enter inside the loop, because true is the true value. After that you just provide the values, then insert the values to the table club, then you ask the user, do you want to insert more records? If yes, then press 1, if not, then press any other number. So if choice not equal to 1, then break. So let's execute the same. So enter the coach ID. This time my coach ID is 2. Then enter the coach name. Suppose coach name is Ravina. Then enter the coach age, that is 34. Next is enter the sports name, right? Suppose it is karate. And date of appointment. So here the date of appointment is 998. This is year. Next one is month, year, month and day. Suppose 20 is the date. Next is the pay, that is 1200. Next is enter the gender. Suppose the gender is female, right? Now do you want to insert more records? If yes, press 1. Suppose now I have to enter another record, so 1. Now enter the coach ID. So next coach ID is 3. So in this way you can enter the details, right? And this time coach name is Karan and age of Karan is 34. Then sports name, let it is Skas, and date of appointment, it is year 2000, month is February, date is 19, and next enter the payment, it is 12,000, and here gender, that is male. Do you want to enter more records, insert more records? Yes. Enter the coach ID. So now my coach ID is 4 because primary key I have inserted in that coach ID, right? So all the time I should provide the unique coach ID. So it is 4, and coach name, that is Tarun, coach age, let it is 33, then sports name, suppose basketball, and date of appointment, that is 1998 is the year, and month, that is January month, date is 8. And what is that pay part? It is 1500, gender, it is male. So do you want to insert more records? No. So other than 1 you can press any number, right? So now you can get the Python prompt. So friends, already we have inserted 4 records into our globe table, right? So now another one method is there, that is %s. So here one format method we have discussed. Similarly another method is old method, that you can use the %s. That also I have to discuss, so that you can clear your doubts that how will you use that %s, right, in your program. So here just I have to use the same SQL, insert into globe values. Instead of using this curly braces, now here we have to use the %s. Again for character type we have to store it within quotes. Numeric type without quotes I have to write the %s. Very simple, right? So here %s. Similarly this is for date, again %s. This is for pay, pay is numeric type, so simple %s I have to write without quotes, and it is for gender, that is character type, so you have to keep that %s in between quotes, right? Now here you will use that only percentage, instead of using dot format, just you have to use %. Then you can use the constant value, right? For example, my CID name is, suppose CID name is 5, so here 5, and next is coach name, that is Zubin, very good name now. So coach age, that is 36, and sports name is swimming, swimming is cat type, right? And date of appointment, the year, it is date type, so we have to keep inside the quotes, so it is 1998 is the year, 12 is the month, 1 is the date. After that payment, that it is 750, though it is very less, but no problem. And the gender, that is male. So friends, here I have used two different methods to just insert the data. Okay, you can use the same methods in update part, in delete part also. That means parameterized query, here in this way you can use the parameters. One is dot format method, another one is %s method. %s is your old method, dot format is your new method. Okay, so let's execute the same. First you save this. Already we have inserted the row, right? So how will you check this? So let's execute that MySQL command line. Here select, you can use select star from table club. So select star from club. Now you can see already we have inserted all these data, right? So this select command also we will implement in our Python program, but here already 5 rows we have inserted. First row we have inserted by using dot format method. Next 3 rows we have inserted by using that while loop. Similarly, last row we have inserted by using the %s method, right? So friends, in this way already we have inserted the data into our table, right? So let me erase all these parts because already we have inserted the data. Now next is, already you have seen that how can you use the select command, but that select command I have used in that MySQL command line. But here how will you implement the same? So before discussing the same, let's discuss the theory part. So friends, when you use the SQL select query, at that time we retrieve the records from the database and need to extract records from the retrieve result set. Once the result of the query is available in the form of result set stored in the cursor object, now we can extract data from the result set using any of the following methods. So here with select command we can use fetch all function or fetch many function or fetch one function to extract the records. Okay, and another property, that is row count. Row count is not a function. Remember students, row count is not a function. That one is the property of cursor object that returns the number of rows retrieved from the cursor so far, right? So let's discuss the fetch all function. Fetch all function will return all the records retrieved as per query in a tuple form, right? So when you use the fetch all function, then it returns all the records retrieved as per query, and remember students, it returns the records in the tuple form, right? So here how will you use that? SQL select start from club, then execute that query, then after executing that you have to just call that fetch all function and raise result equal to mycore.fetchall function. So here that raise is a variable. Now all the records are stored, and here the type of result is list of tuples, right? After that you can display how many rows are there. Then you can display the number of rows by using the row count property. After that just continue a loop so that you can extract the records, all the records from the result set, right? So let's execute the same. How will you use the fetch all function? Already we have, so friends, already we have inserted the data. Now SQL equal to select command is used to extract the records from the table. So select star from, table name is club. After that we have to execute this query by using the cursor object mycore.execute SQL, because SQL is my variable name, right? Then you just extract the record, right? So res or result, this one is one variable, suppose result set or result equal to mycore.fetchall. I want to retrieve all the records. So fetch all function I have to use to retrieve all the records from the result set. Okay, so here now this result is a variable, and that one is one list type of variable which contains all the records, but all the records in tuple form. So this result is a list of tuples, right? Now just continue one loop. for x in result, then print x. So here सपोज आपने क्या यूज किया, सिलेक्ट स्टार्ट फ्रॉम क्लॉक, दैट मीन्स आप सारे रिकॉर्ड्स एक्सेस करना चाहते हो, सो एग्जीक्यूट भी किया. आफ्टर दैट fetchal function we have to use to retrieve all the records to this result set. Okay, then we have to continue one loop to access or to retrieve all the records from this result set. And now this x is what? X is in the tuple form, right? So one row, initially the x contains this row, second time the x just contains this row, and so on. So that in this way you can select all the records, all the rows from the table. So fetchal function is used to retrieve all the records from the result set, right? And here that row count property also you can use. So here you can directly use print total number of records are retrieved that is MySQL dot row count. See friends, here row count is the property, not the function, right? So let's execute the same. See friends, total number of records are retrieved 5, so you can count, that is 5 records are there, and here all the records already we have access, and these records are in tuple form, right? So fetchal function is used to retrieve all the records from the result set, right? Now if you will use the fetch1 function, okay, so here just use the same fetch1. So fetch1 function is used to retrieve one record at a time, right? So here MySQL SQL and result equal to fetch1. So fetch1 case we need not to continue any loop, is not it, because one record I have to access. So what is the need to continue the loop? So when you use the fetch1 method, just you display the result, okay. So here print result, because only one record, first time this first record will be fetched from the table, okay. So here no need to continue the loop, just erase this part. So fetch1 function is used to fetch one record at a time. So let's execute the same. Now first record I have accessed, okay, that is by using the fetch1 method only one record you can access at a time, and total number of records are retrieved, that is 1, is not it. Similarly see, if you will just use the same, that means suppose second time if you want to retrieve another record, and third time. So here what happened, see 3 times I have used the fetch1 method. So here what happened, one pointer is there, that pointer points to the first record. When you will use the fetch1 method first time, that pointer points to the first record, then after retrieving this, then your pointer will point to the second record. Similarly after retrieving this, then your pointer will point to the third records, and so on, okay. So here let's execute the same. See, first record, that is 1 Kuketcha, total number of records are 1. Next time when you use the fetch1 method, then second record is retrieved by this, and records are retrieved 2. Similarly third time when you have used, then third number of records are accessed and total number of records are retrieved, that is 3. So here now आपको ये पता चल रहा है कि fetch1 मेथड जो है, जब आप fetch1 मेथड आप यूज कर रहे हो कंटिन्यूसली, तो वहाँ पे पॉइंटर्स फर्स्ट रिकॉर्ड को पॉइंट आउट करता है, नेक्स्ट टाइम सेकेंड रिकॉर्ड को पॉइंट आउट करेगा, थर्ड रिकॉर्ड को पॉइंट आउट करेगा, और एट ए टाइम आपको 1 रिकॉर्ड ये आपको देता जाएगा. सो दिस इज द यूज ऑफ fetch1 मेथड, राइट. नाउ लेट अस यूज द fetch many method, okay. So instead of using the fetch1 method, now let me access the fetch many method. So here already I have used the select star from clock, then I have executed the same, result equal to MySQL fetch many. But friends, here you need to remember that in fetch many method, when you are using the fetch many method, then you have to mention the number of records. Suppose this time I want to access 2 records. So fetch many method, you need to just provide one parameter, that is number of records. How many number of records you want to retrieved at a time, suppose 2, then it is okay. So let's execute the same. This time you see first record, that is this one, and second record, already this is in that list form, already records are retrieved 2. So let's continue the loop, so that because this is in list form, so for x in result, because 2 records are there in that result set and that result set variable name is result, then print x. Now you see that here total number of records retrieved 2, and first is this record and second one is this one. So fetch many method, here when you use the fetch many method, then you need to provide one parameter, that means number of records, right. So here I have used that print result, no need to use that print result. So let's execute once again, so it is very much clear to you. So here you can see 2 records I have accessed, but after that if you use the fetch one method, now third number of records you can access. Let's see, suppose it is equal to myCur dot fetch one, okay, and print this. See, here I have used fetch many as well as fetch one. Now you see, initially 2 records you can retrieve from this, after that fetch one method will return the third number of record, okay, and total number of records retrieved 3. Is not it? So hope all of you understood what is the use of fetch all method, fetch many method and fetch one method. Fetch all method is used to retrieve all the records from the result set, and here you need to continue the loop. Similarly, fetch many method, at that time you have to just provide one parameter, that is number of records, okay. Similarly, you have to continue the loop to access the records, and fetch one method is used to retrieve a single record at a time. So here no need to continue any loop. So this is about your select statement, right. So after using the select statement, then you have to use any one method, fetch many or fetch all or fetch one, right. Hope all of you understood the select statement, right. Now next let's discuss. So fetch many method accepts number of records to fetch and returns a tuple where each record itself is a tuple. If there are not more records, then it returns an empty tuple, right. So this is about your fetch many function. Similarly, fetch one function returns one record from the result set as a tuple form. If there are no more records, then it returns none. First time it will return the first record, next time it will fetch the next record, and so on. So already we have discussed that all the functions practically. Now next one is updating records. Updating records means if you want to update something, okay. Suppose in this question here update clause set age equal to 37 where coach id equal to 1. That means जिसका कोच आईडी 1 है उसकी एज में आप 37 चेंज करिए, that means update करिए, right. So how will you do that? So here very simple. So friends, let's use the update command. Basically update command is used to manipulate the data, edit the data. So here this one is also one DML type of command. You should remember that insert, delete, update, these are the DML, data manipulation language type of commands. So here how do you update the records? For example, update the age of the coach from 35 to 37 whose coach ID is 1. That means आप जिसका coach ID 1 है उसके एज पे आप 37 update करिए. So how will you write that? So here already we have inserted the data, everything we have finished. Now I have to use the update command. So SQL equal to, just write the update command. So update table name is club, update club set. आप कहाँ पे चेंज करना चाहते हो? एज पे चेंज करना चाहते हो. सो सेट एज equal to dot format method I have to use here. So age equal to curly bracket start, curly bracket close, because this one is numeric type. Set age equal to this where coach ID coach ID equal to, because I have to provide the parameters, dot format. Similarly, you can use the percentage s also. So dot format. Here first parameter I have to provide the age, that means updated age, that is 37, and second one is जिसका coach ID 1 है, so then you have to put this, right? And now we have to execute this. So my cur is my cursor object. Remember students, all the time I am just using the same. My cur is my cursor object, then execute function, and here I have to provide the SQL variable name, because I have assigned the SQL query to this variable name SQL, so I have to just pass this parameter, right? After that I have to use the commit function with my mycon object, mycon dot commit function. After updating, then use the select command. So here fetch all, I have to use the fetch all command. Then let's execute the same. See, already I have updated, जिसका कोच ID 1 है उसका एज 37 हमने अपडेट किया, राइट? इनिशियली कोच ID 1 पे एज 35 था, नाउ वी हैव अपडेटेड द सेम. So in this way you can use the update command. Hope all of you understood. After updating I have used the select command so that I can display the records, okay, display the updated records. Now next part is how do you use the delete command, okay? Delete is also data manipulation type of statement. So let's discuss about the delete command. So friends, let's discuss about the deleting records. How do you delete the records from the table? So delete command is there, and delete command is one type of DML type of command, okay, data manipulation language type of command. So here delete from table name club where coach ID equal to dot format method I have used. So 1, जिसका coach ID 1 है, you have to delete that record. After that you just execute the query and use the commit function. So let's execute the delete command. Already update command we have used. So here now I have to write the delete command, okay? So one variable SQL equal to delete from table name is club where coach ID, because जिसका coach ID 1 है, now I have to delete that records, coach ID equal to, but here we have to use the dot format method. So coach ID equal to curly bracket start and curly bracket close, then close the bracket, use the dot format method, and जिसका coach ID 1 है आप उसको डिलीट करिए, उस रिकॉर्ड को डिलीट करिए, ओके? आफ्टर दैट यू हैव टू एग्जीक्यूट द क्वेरी, देन यूज द कमिट फंक्शन, राइट? So let's execute the same. So delete from the club where coach ID equal to 1, coach ID equal to curly bracket start curly bracket close dot format 1. इसका मतलब यही है कि जिसका coach ID 1 है आप उसको डिलीट करिए. तो ये पैरामीटराइज क्वेरी है, तो पैरामीटराइज क्वेरी के लिए हम डॉट फॉर्मेट मेथड यूज करेंगे या फिर परसेंटेज एस मेथड आप यूज कर सकते हो. तो लेट्स एग्जीक्यूट द सेम. आफ्टर दैट आई हैव टू डिस्प्ले द डेटास, ओके? ऑलरेडी आई हैव रिटन द fetch all function. Now you see already 4 records are there because now we have deleted the record by using the delete command. So जिसका coach ID 1 था वो already वो records आपकी table से delete हो चुकी है, because now you see this record is not there, only 4 records are there, right? So friends, let's write the delete command by using the percentage s method. So here just how will you write the same? Delete from club where coach ID equal to percentage s, then percentage 1, and you have to put a comma. Now just execute it. That means आप जिसको डिलीट करना चाहते हो ऑलरेडी 1 is deleted, so now I have to delete the record 5, right? So here I have to use the 5, जिसका coach ID 5 है आप उस रिकॉर्ड को डिलीट करना चाहते हो, ओके? लेट्स एग्जीक्यूट द सेम, बट हियर आई हैव यूज्ड द परसेंटेज एस. नाउ यू सी already that record 5 having the record 5, that is coach ID 5, sorry. So here you can see that coach ID 5 is not there, that means we have deleted the same. So friends, here I have used both the option, both the methods. One is %s and another one is dot format. Whatever the method you feel comfortable, you just use that, right? Hope all of you understood that how can you install Python MySQL connector to your system. After that, how can you import that MySQL connector to your program. Similarly, how can you establish the connection, then how can you declare the cursor object, and after declaring this, how can you execute the SQL query, then how can you just implement all the DML type of command, update, insert, delete, all the things, and after that, how can you retrieve the records from the result set by using fetch all, fetch many, or fetch one method, right? So after performing all these operations, then last step is you just close the connection. So how will you do that? Here you need to use connection object mycon dot close, so that you can clear your environment. Whatever the operations we have performed, now all the things we can clear. Okay. So now execute this. So already we have closed the connection, right? So hope all of you understood all the operations. So last step is clean up the environment, closing the connection to a MySQL server. You need to close the established connection after you are through all the processing. So thank you all. This one is a very long video, but friends, watch the video. If you have watched the video till end, so now you understood that you can clear your doubt, right? That means now you are able to implement the program practically as well as theoretically. So wait for next video, and just I will discuss the questions for both practical and theoretical exam of your term 2 examination, right? So keep watching. Thank you.